This video is on how to increase or decrease a quantity by a percentage. So the first example, let's just look at an example which isn't a word problem. These are always, I think, a bit easier to understand at first. And it asks you to increase 56 by 25%. One way we can change it is maybe to give some units, increase $56. In fact, we might do that because it makes a bit more sense. You've got $56 and we want to increase it by 25%. So what we need to do first, this is method one, is really we need to work out what that 25% is. So if I've got $56 and I want to work out 25%, we've learnt several different ways. Hopefully you know that 25% is a quarter. So that would be probably my most favorite way to go about this. And then you would just need to divide 56 by 4. You can use a calculator or you can just use some arithmetic. So 4 goes into 5 once, remainder 1, and 4 into 16 goes 4 times. So it turns out that a quarter of $56 is $14. And that makes sense. It's about roughly 4 ways. Well, it is 4 ways. And now we need to increase the $56 by 25%. So if we want to increase $56 by 25%, then we need to make it go up by that amount. So then the second part, this is going to be a two-step question. The second part would be to take the $56, add the 14 on, and then we would get $70. So that's method one, where you do it in 2 steps. You find the percentage of the quantity and then you either add or subtract it. So if I said to you decrease $56 by 25%, you would have to take the $14 off the $56. Now the other method which I do like more, and this method is much better when we don't get lovely percentages like 25%. In fact, let's use it where we have, say, something like 30% or 37% or something like that. So if we want to, and this time around, instead of increasing, let's decrease. Let's change the question a little bit. Decrease $56 by 30%. Now, what I want you to remember is that $56 is your whole amount that you start off with. And so as a percentage, that's 100%. So if we want to decrease $56 by 30%, then I don't want 100% anymore. I want it to be 30% less. And 30% less than 100% is 70%. So really what I want to do is work out 70% of $56. That's method 2, where we say, well, we want to take off 30% off this $56, and 30%, well, if the original amount is 100%, then I want to make it go down by 30%. I want to decrease it by 30%. So all I'll be left with is 70%. And if I go and work out 70% of $56, well, that would be 7 on 10 times 56. And you can use your calculator to do that, but we'll persist. 10, I know that 10 will divide into 56. It will become 5.6. So then we need 7 lots of $5.60. So I'm going to go off to the side and I'm going to multiply them. So 0 times 7 is 0. 6 sevens are 42, carry the 4. 5 sevens are 35 plus 4 is 39. So it turns out it is $39.20. So method 2, if you thought that was all right, I definitely want you to be open to using method 2, because what it does is it answers the question in 1 step instead of having to break it into 2 steps. If you really found it much easier to understand method 1, you can stick with method 1, or if you're really good, you can move between the 2 types of methods. All right, let's have a look at a word problem. A penguin population of a small island was 1,500 in 2020. So that's the population this year. And its population decreases by 15% every year. Calculate its population in 2021. So we know that between 2020 and 2021, its population is going to decrease by 15%. So what we will do is we will treat its current population as the whole amount, so 100%. So if it's going to decrease by 15%, well, I need to take that 15% off, which gives me 85%, and then I can work out what 85% of the population is. So I've got to work out 85 on 100 times 1,500. There I can easily cancel out those zeros. So really what I've got to do is 85 times by 15. and I could do 85 multiplied by 10 plus 5 more lots of 85. So that would give me 850, and then 85 times 5, well, that would be 5 lots of 80, which is 400, and 5 lots of 5, which is 25. So that would give me 1275. Hopefully I haven't made any mistakes there. My answer does make sense. Why does it make sense? Well, they told me that the penguin population was going to go down by 15%. So at least, firstly, the penguin population has gone down from 1,500 to 1,275. But also, I know that 10% of the population is 150. So I would expect it to go down by more than that. So, and it has gone down by more than 10%. So I think that my answer is correct. So I hope this method makes sense, where you see that you're reducing the percentage by a certain amount. In this case, it was 15%. And if your original amount is 100%, then you can just take it off. What I might do is do this question using the other method for those of you who really need to see it two ways. So let's do it both ways. So if I want to reduce the penguin population by 15%, the first thing I need to do is work out 15% of the penguin population. So that would be 15 on 100 multiplied by 1,500. And so I will cancel those zeros there, and then if you need to, you can calculate 15 times 15, which is 225. So it turns out the penguins population will go down by 215 penguins. That was step 1. Step 2 is to actually decrease the population. So that's 1,500 minus 225, and you can do that arithmetic on the side. Borrow here. So we're going to get 572, and that's exactly what we got before, 1,275 penguins. So that will be the population in 2020.